Hi, I wanted to give a 1.5 year update here on my Garmin Fenix 5S, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, and how it has fared with over this last 1.5 years. I've been through a few different fitness watches over the years. Most of them have been Fitbits, which have not lasted very well. I've actually gone through, I think, 6 Fitbits in 2 years where they kept sending me new ones. This one I've had for a 1.5 years. There's been no replacement on it. There's been nothing else. I've worn this nearly every day. Lately, I haven't been doing nearly as good on my exercise, as you can tell. But what's really amazing to me is the screen on this. I don't know if I can find an angle, but there are no scratches. I usually destroy watches because my wrist, when it's on my wrist, it's at that perfect height where it bangs against every little door jamb possible. So it hits the metal piece, and normally I scratch these all up like crazy. This one is not the Sapphire version. It is just the standard S version, and the glass is still flawless. So I'm really impressed with this. I think part of it is because of this slight raised edge on the silver. This is just slightly raised, and I think that really helps it out a lot. But the other part, I think, is just the fact that this glass is really tough. It's taken a beating. I've taken it in saltwater pools. I do swimming with it. I go to the gym and I work out and I do biking in it, which is why partially my steps are so low. I've been doing more biking lately, but it's surprisingly good. I do find that this sensor has no problem picking it up. The battery life today is still easily 5 days. So I haven't had any issues with battery life or anything like that. It's been just a phenomenal watch. I charge it up in my car usually for a half hour to 40 minutes on my way to work, maybe once or twice a week, and that's about it. The plug here, I don't like having these proprietary plugs, but it does work. There's sometimes where I feel like I have to kind of reconnect it a couple times. That's my only thing that I have to say has been difficult with this, is because I do charge it in the car. I haven't bought any bands, and this one is starting to wear a little bit. It's showing some of this wearing on it. The part that, when you slide it through, there's a little part here that normally holds the band down. That thing broke off pretty early. I want to say after 6 months of use, that broke off. I haven't, this is a little bit small for my wrist anyhow, so it doesn't really matter. But that is one of the things that I will say, if you need that, you're going to have to probably buy another one or buy another band, I think, to get one. I don't know if you can just buy that part. This does have the interchangeable bands, and I have not bought any bands, so I have no idea how well that works, but it seems to, it is still no issues whatsoever connecting and disconnecting. I have taken these off and cleaned these bars every once in a while. I have found that sometimes they get a little bit grody, and then I'll have like black stuff, like you can tell my thumb right here, I have some black stuff from it. So, but overall, I'm really impressed with this watch. Garmin, you did a great job. I like the fact that there's buttons on it. Notifications are okay. I don't like the fact that the software defaults to on whenever you install a new application, so you get notifications on here. It should default to off unless you turn it on, especially if you have all off. Typically, like I do, I only get my text messages and my phone calls through here. Everything else I do not want going to my watch. I don't need to know every time I get an email, an Instagram post, a game pops up with some sort of notification or something. I just don't need any of those to pop up on here. So I wish it would default to off. Now, as great as this watch is, the biggest downfall is probably the software, which Garmin keeps updating, which is great, but they sometimes take away features. So, as you're clicking through here, all this stuff stays the same, but then you go to look on something like, as an example here, so you can see I have my notifications on there for birthdays and everything, but this is my training status, and it says I need to run outdoor twice to train, which is kind of bogus, really, because I don't run outside. So I can scroll through here, and it has all this information about my load and everything, and they used to have this nice graph that would show you to go up and down depending on your load, and that's gone. So I have no idea how I'm tracking or anything compared to what it used to be. So I really wish that they kind of keep the software the same and have better incremental updates instead of like these wide-ranging updates that seem to change a lot of things. So as far as the watch itself, this is a watch face that I downloaded. I like it because it has a lot of information. Some people, I have been known to put on ones that have the hands on it to make it look a little bit more elegant if I'm going out to dinner somewhere or a wedding. But I like this one because I get a lot of information very quickly by just looking at it. I can see my pulse right now. I have it off, obviously, so it's an average. But my height on the I should say my altitude, temperature of where it is, how many steps I've done, the time, stairs I've done, steps I've done, the date over the week, percent of battery, how far I've gone, and how many calories I've burned. And this is just a great feature to have all this available, and I can always switch it up to whatever I want, really. And I think you can even download software and design your own. I haven't done that, but I have thought about it before, because some of this information I don't need, some of it I do. But, it's been a great watch, I have to say. I highly recommend it. If the new models probably just have more features and are better, I wouldn't mind getting one of the ones that have the Pay app on it, so I could just pay with my watch instead of having to take out my cell phone at all the Apple Pay locations. So overall, if you have any questions, let me know. But I really like this watch. I've been very impressed with it. For the price, it should last this long, no problem, and it has not had any issues whatsoever. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the Garmin products. They just seem to know what they're doing with build quality and everything. So if you have any questions, please leave a comment and ask, and I will try to answer it to the best of my ability. But overall, this review is a very positive review. I still love this watch. I love the battery life on it. I know a lot of people have Apple Watches where they charge every night or sometimes during the day even because they start dying. I've not had that issue at all over a year and a half. The battery is still great. It is a little bit thick, and it's a little bit big on a wrist, which is why I got the small instead of the normal size. But I do highly recommend these watches. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and thank you very much, and please subscribe to my channel.